I don't want to be a hater on the new Superman, but there's a lot of things that I just don't like. And I keep seeing a lot of comments from people in all the comment sections on all the different trailer reactions and stuff where they say, oh, this is a Superman that's there and he's bringing hope. And, you know, we had that.
It's not an S. In my world, it means hope.
I'm still not sold on the suit that David Cornsweet is wearing. It doesn't look like they tightened it up too much in post-production. But then again, there's like 7 more months before this movie's released. And so who knows what it's going to turn out looking like. I don't get the Guy Gardner thing. I really don't. I know it's comic book accurate, the bowl, but Nathan Fillion just looks awful. And like, if you're going to have an action figure made of yourself and something you can be proud of, I would have fought the bowl cut. I would have been like, you know, that's the one thing about the character I probably wouldn't have done. But I know everybody's, oh, comic book accurate, comic book accurate. I don't like the look of this movie. It's not stylized in any way, shape, or form. It looks like Peacemaker, and it looks like Suicide Squad. And so it just looks kind of generic. Borderline television series. And I like a more cinematic look. I like things that emulate the 35 millimeter look. So I'm not sold on how it actually looks. Using the John Williams score is something that I am totally for. I think it should have totally been, even in the Zack Snyder universe, it should have been a thing that they carried over. Because when you have a score by John Williams that won an Oscar, you keep using that theme and you make it work. I think there's so many characters in this movie. You know, again, it's one of those things where even with the original DCEU, they tried to do the reverse of what Marvel did. Marvel started with standalone movies before they started doing the team-ups and forming them together and bringing more characters in and building up this entire universe. It feels like, just like with the DCEU, they're going to bring everybody together as fast as they can and then shoot a shotgun at the wall and see what sticks. And I think that's a bad idea. The 1978 Superman, the movie, is the original Superman I grew up with. And I love the color palette. I love what Dick Donner did with those films. But I will say that one of my issues is, what is the campiness level going to be? James Gunn is super overboard with all of his jokey jokes. There's constantly jokey jokes in the Guardians of the Galaxy. Some work, some don't. Peacemaker, jokey jokes, fart jokes this, fart jokes that. Even that really horrible thing that James Gunn did at the end of Peacemaker Season 1 when the Justice League showed up and they did that whole thing about fucking a fish.
You're late, you fucking dickheads! Go fuck another fish, asshole!
I'm so fucking sick of that rumor.
It's not a rumor.
Fuck the berry.
I absolutely hated that. And one of the things that frustrated me is that these superhero characters are supposed to be for kids. But something about James Gunn and loving to put this shitty humor in there, and bragged about being the first person in the Marvel Cinematic Universe to have a character drop an F-bomb, which was absolutely not necessary in the final version of Guardians of the Galaxy 3. It did nothing to move the story. It was stupid, and it was dumb to put it in there. Now, some people say, well, you know, Deadpool, Wolverine, you know, they were dropping F-bombs left and right. I get that, but that's a different type of movie. Guardians of the Galaxy wasn't supposed to be that. So there's this sick humor that he has. I mean, even Creature Commandos has nudity in it for cartoon characters. And I get that those are targeted towards adults, but kids are going to watch those too as well. And I'm just, something's just not sitting right with me with James Gunn. And although crypto has been around since 1955 in the comic books, the general audience that does not watch comic books, and you can't make big money at the box office without the general audience. One, they're not going to know what the hell crypto is. And two, they're going to be shocked that this is a reboot and Henry Cavill's gone. Because although the fanboys and people who follow film like we do understand what went down and that they're rebooting all of it, the general audience, they have no clue. And they're going to find out during the marketing and during this. And I've seen a lot of comments in some of these sections and some of these people who have been posting, what happened to Henry Cavill? Why are they rebooting this? What is this? And I think that's going to be a problem. I think they should have waited just a little bit longer before relaunching all this stuff to get a little bit more distance away from the DCEU. But, you know, they want the money and they're going to push really hard to make this happen, to get as much money as possible, because David Zaslav has been dropping the ball with Warner Brothers since the merger, and he is just imploding that entire company. As someone who works full-time in the film industry, I want this to work. I want it to be successful. But I think about all the nostalgia, the color palette, everything that they're going for with this film is exactly what Bryan Singer attempted to do with Superman Returns. He brought the John Williams score. The opening credits were it was a direct sequel to Superman 2, the Richard Donner films. And even though the story was a little people just didn't embrace Superman at that time. And Warner Brothers said, well, then if they don't want the classic, we have to go in a whole new direction. And then in comes Zack Snyder with a whole new idea. You know, Krypton is no longer an ice planet. People have said that Man of Steel was dark and broody and all this kind of stuff. But, you know, it's a product of its time. And I don't think people are going to embrace this colorful, campy, although it could sell a lot of toys for a lot of kids if James Gunn doesn't put his finger in the dirty batter and put some smut in it. They could make some money off toys, because one of the things that I felt has been lacking, even with the Batman, with the Matt Reeves version, all that, like the toys aren't for little kids. Like these, you know, that universe, the Matt Reeves universe, is just too dark for any real merchandising for children. They're basically selling $200 sideshow dolls to 40-year-old men who love Batman, because kids ain't buying that for $200 a pop. So they've got a whole lot more work to do, and they've got 6 months or so to keep up the marketing campaign. I don't know how much money Warner Brothers is going to have. They're hemorrhaging left and right to put towards marketing. So if they don't put enough money behind it and get the word out that there's a whole new Superman and all this other kind of stuff, they're going to have problems. And I feel like this movie, being the first out of the gate, will probably not be a box office success like they're looking for. I think it'll fall anywhere from $450 million to $600 million, kind of in the line of where The Batman landed. That's my 2 cents. I could be completely wrong, but I don't think I am.